Sounds good.
Hi, this is Coach K, also known as Khara Ashburn. I teach women how to adopt a healthier lifestyle and lose weight by faith. And today I am so excited for this episode to have a super special guest with me. And I've known her for maybe 2 years now or so. And I'm so pumped to have her here. We're going to talk about cooking, everybody's favorite topic. And with me live is Chef Bee. And I will let her introduce herself from there. Let me just say, she's amazing. I'll let her do the rest.
Hey, everybody. Hey. How are you all? This is Chef Bee. My name is Natasha Bruley. I am, my business is essentially Chef Bee, and the bigger business is Inyansipo Wellness Institute. I am a professor. I teach mathematics at a college. I'm an associate professor of mathematics. I've been in higher ed for more than 22 years. And within the last 6 years, I would say, I've really sort of gotten serious about health and wellness being a part of the work that I do. To me, it's education, just like teaching math. This is just another level of education. So I'm a health coach. I am a plant-based chef. I also do essential oil education to show people how to integrate those components seamlessly into their lifestyle in order to achieve their health goals. So that's a little bit about me. I'm a mom of two. I'm a wife. I'm from Guyana, but I grew up in Brooklyn. I've spent most of my formative years, I would say, here in Atlanta, because I left New York when I was 17, and I've been in Atlanta ever since. So happy to be here. I've known Coach Khara. She actually joined us on one of our challenges, Spring into the Raw 2015. And then that's been it. We've been connecting, and I've been loving the work that you've been doing. Beautiful, beautiful work.
You stay busy. I mean, you do so many things because, I can't even keep up. So I'm not even going to try to list it. But I have learned so much from you, especially since going through my own transformation, losing weight, and then ending up doing health coaching, which was not on my mind at all. Like when I met you, I was trying to get my life together. Okay.
I remember. Yeah.
I joined Spring in the Raw because I needed to get myself together. And also I think that was not too long after I had initially transitioned. And one of the things I determined when I said, this is the last time I'm ever going to diet, is I need to do something different. Everything needs to be different than any other time I tried in the past because I was unsuccessful. And so I had to think about why I was unsuccessful and what I failed at. And for me, it was not having enough variety. I would get bored and then I would go back to what I used to do. And so doing the periodic cleanses would help me to kind of reboot, and then I'd be happy to go back to my regular plant-based food after denying myself for a certain amount of time. And so I really love Spring in the Raw, and I want to make sure that we touch on that again before we finish talking for sure. I didn't know you were from New York, though.
Yeah, I'm originally from Guyana, but grew up in New York, Brooklyn, baby, BKLYN. That's where it's at.
Oh my God.
That hustler that you see in me, I get it from being in New York.
I thought that was Guyana. And I'm glad you said that, because I've been saying that for the longest time. I think I've been saying Guyana, but it's Guyana.
It's Guyana. Yeah, Guyana. We say that. Okay. And I mean, I got to give credit to my mom too, because my mom didn't really have a formative education, but she really just sort of, she brought us to the U.S. so that we can have all the things that we need, and, our family. I'm really just thankful the women in our family are very strong women and very just sort of go-getter women, not necessarily, I would say, they've made the healthiest choices, but I really feel like I learned from what my family do, what they do, so I know what not to do. We deal with hypertension in our family. Diabetes is kind of cropping up a little bit. It's on both sides. My dad has hypertension. I have hypertension. My brother has hypertension. And really it's stress, right? So it's not really what I eat, but it's really being able to manage stress. So that is why it's so important to have an integrative approach to health and wellness. It's not just about food, because you can eat clean, but then if you're not managing these other components of your life, then you're going to still see challenges. And then once you find a balance, it's about maintenance, right? It's about maintenance. So I'm in a stressful job. I'm a professor. That's a lot of work. And what I realized too is when semester's over, stress level goes down like this, right? But just imagine people who are working year round, right? And who don't have those tools. They're not eating well, they're drinking energy drinks. They're drinking soda, they're really hurting themselves. Their body is probably inflamed all over the place. So it's really understanding, I think family history, what sorts of things are you susceptible to? What are your triggers? And then really working to manage those things and just, find a self-care plan that's going to support you and your well-being. So I love the integrative approach to the things that I do.
You are just preaching my language. I grew up a pretty healthy eater. And I'm glad you went there because and actually, I don't think you mentioned in your intro, by the way, that you're also a professor. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I don't know if you guys remember the In Living Color years ago where
the Caribbean lady.
You have 3 jobs. You have 3 jobs.
I'm a doctor, a lawyer, a hairdresser, and got to go to work.
Yes, that's how you sound. You're like, da, 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 da. I'm a professor. Like you just threw that in on top of everything else. I'm exhausted. I feel like when this is over, I need another job. I really.
So funny.
I know I'm not doing enough though. We need to have a whole nother separate private conversation. I need you to get me together. I really do. But anyway, I love what you said about it being integrated because, I've lost weight before. I was plant-based before, but I never looked at anything I was doing holistically because I was so obsessed with weight loss. And I think so many women in particular are obsessed with weight loss. And then you have people who don't have weight to lose, so they think they can just eat and do whatever. And it's not just about what we eat. It's also about what's eating us, right? That's a popular slogan. And then all the factors of your life. Like I remember on my last job, I'm not gonna say anything to identify her because I don't know if she might ever listen to this, but it was just a very unhealthy environment. And I had someone I worked with who just worked to the bone and barely had time to drink water all day, holding urine all day long because you're running from one meeting to another. And once you start studying and realizing that when you hold something that your body's trying to let go of, your body starts reabsorbing it and it becomes toxic in your system. You don't understand why people are like dropping dead at their desk. Because again, you said self-care plan. Folks are not making it enough of a priority in my mind to put the self-care where it needs to be. And I know someone else that was starting a new job and she said to me, I'll get back to you in a couple months. Like she wanted to pause her self-care for a couple months to give all this energy to an employer. Now I get that you need the job, you need to get, your work done. You have to take care of your family. But if you drop dead, they will put some flowers in your office or cubicle about a week. And then move your stuff right on out of there. Everybody will cry for a day. Meanwhile, your family will be crying for a lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So what I wanted to talk to you about today, though, was home cooking. So I want you to tell us how I really want to attack this. And I want to be kind, but I also want to be very firm with every listener because I think this is a really important topic. But I want to back up and find out how you got started or focused, like what drives your passion to be so passionate about health and then, cooking and things for your family.
All right. So first things first, I'm a Caribbean girl, right? And so food is very much an integral part of our family and what we do. I mean, my mother calls me, what you cooking today on a Sunday, or it's like Saturday, what you making tomorrow? Like Sunday is like the day you cook, And so growing up, I'm in the kitchen, I'm at her heels, whatever she wants me to do, at her beck and call. So I have very fond memories of being in the kitchen. I mean, I've learned all my lessons from my mother eating Caribbean food. I was a latchkey kid, but I was a good kid. So I wasn't out there, doing bad stuff. I was at home reading my encyclopedia and really trying to learn how to do certain things. So my mom would call me with different tasks. Okay, I need you to take this out the freezer so it could thaw. That's a lesson, right? I need you to cut the chicken foot, take the claws off the chicken foot. I need you to gut the fish. And these were lessons, and then before you know it, okay, I need you to cut up that seasoning, stuff the belly. Mind you, this is all over the phone when she's at work. So as early as 10, 11 years old, I'm cooking food for my brother, my little baby sister, and I enjoyed it. I truly enjoyed it. But as I got older and just, more knowledgeable, I realized I was like, yo, this food is good, but it's unhealthy. It's a lot of pastries. It's that sort of post-colonial food, right? So a lot of breads, a lot of pastries. I think you can kind of make it synonymous with what we call soul food. Mm-hmm. So sometimes scraps. So like there's souse, there's chicken foot, there's cow foot soup, there's, a lot of rice, lots and lots and lots of rice. Like that might be the main event, a rice. And then there's, an infusion of meats and pork and things of that nature. And I'm like, it's delicious. It's food that reminds you of home. But when we think about just what's happening in our community with folks who are dealing with diabetes, having these sort of blood sugar spikes from rice and from, a lot of sweets, it's not serving us well. Right. So for me, I enjoy making those things, but I really was like, okay, how can I make things healthier? Yeah. What can I do to make these things healthier? How can I make sorrel where it's not like syrup? How can I make ginger beer where it's like, not a ton of sugar in it? And, really that's been like the challenge. That's the challenge. But I enjoy cooking. I enjoy going to restaurants or even the supermarket or, Whole Paycheck. We're not going to call it the real name. And seeing, okay, what do they have out there and how can I make it more affordable? How can I make it healthier so that I can continue enjoying it? And it's not just about me going to the store and getting it all the time, because that adds up. That becomes very, very expensive if you're eating out all the time. So for me, I've made a commitment with all that I do. I can give up a lot of other things. I can have someone wash my car. I can have someone mow my lawn. But the one thing that I don't want to give up is cooking for my family, So that's how really my plant-based to-go business started. Because when I cook with a lot of intention. I cook with a lot of love and a lot of patience. And I know that people need that. They need that pill, that light, that love, that intention, that patience in their food. And so I don't mind cooking for other people. All right. It's exciting to me. It's also very therapeutic for me. We talked about self-care. That gives me like one of the greatest joys, cooking food in the kitchen. And so I would say, I think the thing that's really helped me tremendously has been having plant-based meals to go, because I plan menus every week. And I think for people to be successful at preparing foods, I think if they menu plan, that menu plan for the next week, it comes out every Friday. So I know what I'm preparing for my family every Friday, and my husband gets that email too. So he knows what we're eating throughout the week. So I've integrated it, in what I do for the family, and I really am like, oh, this is kind of cool. He knows what we're going to have. I know what I'm going to make. And on Saturdays, I go to the Cab Farmers Market and I'm shopping for myself, the family, and clients. Wow. So, yes.
So did y'all hear that? She also... You didn't mention that in your intro either. I think you're up to like 6 jobs now because she has meals for people. So you can subscribe to her list and find out what she's making next week if you live in the Atlanta area, and get on her list and subscribe and get those meals. And so if you don't want to cook for yourself or can't, there are options to make sure you
healthy options. That's right.
But what I'm concerned about as well is, because even if somebody purchases some meals from you, they still need to do something for themselves. And I was talking to somebody earlier today about how this generation, and when I say this generation, I'm talking about my generation. What I see is my generation. I'm 45 years old. I can count on like one hand the number of friends I have who regularly cook their own food. And people have just fallen out. It's like when we were kids, eating out was irregular treat, if at all. Right? Like you probably didn't eat out at all. What you described, you probably didn't eat out at all. For us, we ate out. It was a special occasion. You know.
Same here. Same here. We went to McDonald's. That's when McDonald's was healthy.
Right. It was better. It was real
better.
Food. It was real food.
Girl, my mom was like, "We going to McDonald's." We were like, "What?" Like, right. It was literally. Yeah, like once or twice a year, we would go to McDonald's and have breakfast, and now that would be it. Or if we were out in the city in Manhattan shopping, we go and have like Popeyes or go to get a salad or something. It was like such a big deal, such a big deal, because we didn't do that. We did not eat out. We ate everything,
and
everything.
I'm lost on what happened. So like I'm gonna out my mother a little bit here. She might get upset. But I grew up, you know, my mother, and this is the thing, my father worked 14 hours a day. My mother worked, she got her master's degree at some point while we were growing up, but yet still she made a meal every day, you know, and even on the weekends. I noticed that, I remember specifically when I was a teenager though, processed foods started getting more popular. And my mother started buying more things that were processed. This was back, I guess, the late 80s. Nobody really talked about it being bad. You know, it was there. And she never really enjoyed cooking anyway. So that's when I noticed that we had more of that kind of stuff in the refrigerator and the freezer all the time. A lot of things we processed. And even though I was vegetarian, it was still, we ate a lot of processed veggie meat. And stuff like that, and you know, a lot of dairy because we weren't vegan or anything. And so I think that that's when it happened for a lot of people. This shift just took place, and now there are people that I know who, I mean, they not only do they not cook, if you give them a basic meal plan, they might have some salt, but like they don't have what I consider to be pantry basics.
Right.
Vanilla extract, basic seasonings, you know, and so I feel like now I'm just on a mission. Like I thought I was going to be focusing on something else, you know, this quarter or this first half of the year, but I just feel like God is putting it on my heart that people need to return to basics. Now, it's not going to happen all the time, but do you realize that if some type of emergency happened, people would be out of gas. Like your family would. Now what if nothing happens? Fine. My thing is, years ago, I wanted to learn how to make bread just because if an emergency happened and all I had was flour, would I know what to do with it? And when you don't, there's no technology and you can't jump on YouTube and watch a video real quick or whatever. What do you have that you could make something out of so that your family does not starve? And if we should learn in Atlanta, what was it, the snowpocalypse we had a couple of years ago?
Yes,
like you don't have basic pantry staples, anything can happen. So while I agree, I love that you have a service where you'll provide for those who can't do, but I also want to push people to just do for themselves. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a crisis going on right now.
I mean, that's why we do the cooking show. So you've been on the cooking show recently, Stirring It Up with Chef Bee and Friends.
Yeah.
The goal of that cooking show, the very first goal is to show people that eating plant-based is not beyond them. Like, it's not hard. You know what I'm saying? Even if you decided, okay, I don't have any of those items that you talked about, pantry items. You can just, you know, you can eat fruit, you know, like you can eat plant-based, you can just boil, just keep it simple. I mean, super simple. You can saute up some greens and you're done.
Right.
So I think people think this thing is harder than it actually is. And so, as you know from the show, we are doing very simple recipes where we're showing the community they can get access to those videos anytime on YouTube or on the website chefbee.com with 3 E's. You can get access to those cooking shows at any time. Those recipes are no more than 30 minutes. It might go a little bit over because people are chatting, we're kind of sharing with each other what we do, but nothing there is challenging for people to actually do. I think it's a wanting that people have to have. It's a wanting to really be healed. It's a wanting to return back to the basics.
Right.
And I don't know if the wanting is there because there's so many conveniences for people that you just have, you know what? Here's the deal. I also know that when crisis occurs,
yes,
that is with your health, or something happens where you have to make a dramatic change, that's when we see transformation.
yeah,
That's when we see it. Otherwise, when people are comfortable, there's no reason for you to shift. There's no reason for you to shift. So when people are now getting diagnoses, oh, high blood pressure, you need to change your diet. Oh, you can't eat at Panda Express every day. Oh, you can't eat pizza every day. No, you can't go to McDonald's every day. Oh, what? My blood sugar, I'm borderline diabetic. No, you can't have Chick-fil-A shakes every day. You got to cook.
yeah.
So when you start getting those diagnoses that you have to shift because this thing that you've been doing is not serving you well, that's when we see transformation. That's when we'll see people calling us saying, you know what? I need to probably get a couple cooking classes from you. I need to learn to get some things under my repertoire that's super simple. And then when they start getting back into it and they're seeing the change, they're seeing the growth, they're seeing things shift. Their blood sugar levels are going down. Their blood pressures are returning to normal. And some other chronic illnesses, they're at bay. That's when people are like, okay, I see why I need to do this. Otherwise, we are talking to, we're just beating a dead horse.
It's the wall. It's the wall.
Yeah, it's like you just...
There's no impetus to change whatsoever. Because, it was a health crisis for me. And I have to say, if I was skinny already, I really don't think I ever would.
Why would you?
Because I love to eat. Like, I love food.
Yeah.
I'm a total sugar addict. And so that's true. But back then I did still cook, but it was mainly because I knew how to make my food taste the way I wanted it. And so I liked eating out, but sometimes I would have a taste for something that I knew how to make.
Right.
So that was a little bit different, but I find it to be really challenging with this generation. That so what I'm working through is how can I help people start small steps, because people run the gamut. So you have some people out there who know how to cook, but they just don't cook very often. Right. And we have some people who don't cook at all. And so they're struggling with just the basics of how do I even begin to, to get started with thinking about this. And I think what you said, so think about what you said. I'm speaking from the former fat girl inside of me when you said, just eat some fruit. The sugar addict is, when people used to say that, I'd be like, what? I do not want an apple, right? I'm with some ice cream and a sundae. So I totally relate to that. There's still ways for you to keep it simple though, right? You could choose a bean, a vegetable, and, put those two things.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you wanted something, a little heartier, you could add a legume to it if you like.
Yes, absolutely.
Do different variations of that for quite a while. And then maybe every week, and I'm just thinking on the fly here, you try a new recipe. You add something new every now and then. And with that, taste as you go. If you're not sure about it at all, maybe make a smaller portion. Don't make a huge pan of something.
Right.
Start small, because people get discouraged easily and they don't want to try again.
Here's something that you can do. I think this is, because I do this myself. Round 1, round 2, round 3 recipes. So let's say, for example, you like quinoa. You like a grain like that. It's a healthy grain. It doesn't, give you blood sugar spikes. It doesn't do any of that. It's a really, really good grain. So what you can do is, let's say today, you basically you make a quinoa bowl. So you get some fresh spinach, you get the grains, you may saute some mushrooms, put it on there. That's one meal. Round 2 recipe, you might make a quinoa fried rice, right? So then you get your ginger, you get your bamboo shoots, you get your carrots, and then you saute up the quinoa with some bok choy, right? A little bit of, coconut aminos. That's round 2. Round 3 might be a quinoa taco. Get some black beans. So you've made this, because that's going to be really the longest thing that's going to cook, right? You make this quinoa, but your quinoa is sort of the base for these different meals.
Yeah.
And then you can package that up throughout the week. You can get some glass containers, or you can get just some nice portable containers, and you can really organize your meals with quinoa being the star. Or it could be something else being the star. It could be a legume being the star. And that way, it doesn't feel like, and you can do that all in about an hour, and you can plan your whole week for like an hour. I really, truly believe that you can do that. So we say quinoa tacos with black beans. You can also do the quinoa fried rice. And then what was the first one? Like quinoa with some spinach and then some, like a fresh vegetable or something like that on top.
Yeah.
So I think planning. What is it that you like? What things do you like? What is it that you can eat repeatedly? Because the other thing is, if you're one of those people, I got to have something different every time I eat, it's going to be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to be flexible, okay, I don't mind having this thing over and over again, but in different ways, and kind of shake it up, then menu planning is going to be really, really, I think, accessible for others, right? For people.
Yeah. And I think that if you like variety, so like me, I could do 2 days and then I'm bored.
Okay.
So what we're doing, like the cooking class I'm doing on Sunday, we're doing 3 entrees, and then with the meal plan, you're swapping it out. So we're doing pasta 2 ways, a gluten-free pasta or like a kamut pasta or something like that. We're going to do a white sauce and a red sauce. So one day you'll have the pasta with the white sauce, one day you'll have the pasta with the red sauce, and I'm showing them how to make a basic homemade veggie meat from mushrooms and walnuts, believe it or not. And that is a great base, because you can add it to a taco. You can have it in the white sauce. You can
the red sauce.
Yeah, and a lettuce wrap. You could do a lettuce.
Absolutely, yeah.
Different toppings on there, and then you have that one thing to kind of carry through, and it doesn't taste the same because you mix it differently. So I think that what you're describing, I like how you put it though, the round 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, round 2, round 3, round 1, round 2, round 3 recipes, I think, is a strategy that when we're talking about showing folks how to really do it and how to do it efficiently, that's going to be it. So if you have your sweet potato, let's say you go to the market, you get a bunch of sweet potatoes. Boom. You take a section of those, roast them.
Right.
Take a section of them. You can boil them, or even, I don't even boil sweet potatoes anymore because all those good nutrients come out in the water. I want the water. So what I do is I actually take those sweet potatoes and I'll put it in a pan with some water, and then I just let it steam. Okay.
Wonderful idea.
And then you can just mash them up with some earth balance or a little bit of nutritional yeast. Boom, mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay. That veggie crumble that you just talked about, that could go with the mashed potatoes.
That would go great on top of that.
That would go great on top of that. And then the other thing, okay, so you talked about mushrooms and walnuts as a crumbler. Girl, walnuts and cauliflower.
I did that recently.
Walnuts and cauliflower. That's another crumbler. So boom, you got your crumbles, but they're different kinds of things.
Mushrooms. If you don't do the nuts, you could do mushrooms and cauliflower together. And
then
and for those who are listening who are like, what? That sounds so strange. Don't knock it till you try it.
It's so good.
You season it.
So good.
Put the same seasonings on it that you used to put on meat,
Yes.
I stick with the basics. Salt.
Oh yeah, you got to. You got to.
A little thyme, some oregano, a tiny bit of sage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that makes
you get me hungry.
Girl, listen, I did the cauliflower meat a couple of weeks ago, and my husband was eating like tacos with it. He didn't know what it was.
Right.
Asking him, but they don't care. They're just happy some food is there and it's ready, and they just
absolutely.
Yeah, I think
that's how you do it. That's how you do it. And I think you have to ask people, well, what is it that you like? What is it that you don't mind eating abundance of? Mm-hmm. And then we start to do menu planning, simple menu planning, where it's less than 30 minutes that person's in the kitchen. All right? That's how you do it. And then slowly but surely, when you check in, boom, you add to their repertoire. You
So
know what
what
I mean?
about the person that hates to cook? And the person who says I don't have time, because when people say they don't have time, I have to be honest with you, I don't believe them. I think that because we all have the same 24 hours, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's how are you choosing to allocate your time, because there's something in your schedule that if you got sick, because again, like you said, we get sick, all decks are cleared,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Now all
Oh,
of a sudden everything has to shift. And so I
right.
feel like anyone can choose to look at their schedule and say,
Mhm.
okay, what am I doing maybe on the weekends or whatever that I can scrap so that
Right.
I have time to put together some nutritional meals? Because I know one thing my parents never did that we do a lot of these days, and that is like hanging out. Okay. They went to work, they came home, they went to church. There wasn't
That was
all,
it.
there wasn't
Right.
these extra
Right.
going to, and I'm not saying I'm not going all the way back there. I'm not saying that.
Right. Right.
Though I may be home full time now in my business, I was working 60 hours a week when I made my transition, and it was not easy. And
Mhm.
the first I say month or so, I felt like I was in the kitchen constantly, but it was really because I didn't know what I was doing. So I think once you get in a rhythm and flow, and you learn certain tricks of the trade according to your lifestyle, it does get easier. Like for me, I learned I can't grocery shop and cook on the same day. I'm exhausted. By the time I come in from the store, I'm ready to sit down. It's like you go to the grocery store and then you want to pick up some takeout, right? It's something strange about that. So I learned grocery shop one day, food prep and cook on a different day. And I wake up, I'm feel restored, go in there and just get it done. And I know like my aunt, she came to stay with me when I had my 15-year-old daughter. When my daughter was born, the dinner was done by like 2 o'clock. It was like the first thing
Yeah.
she did when she got up in the morning. She cooked dinner and it just
Yeah.
sat there until it was dinner time.
Yeah.
And then there wasn't
Absolutely.
all this pressure and rush. So
Absolutely.
I want to give the listeners some suggestions if they hate to cook or say they don't have time.
I would say crock pot cooking or Instapot cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get a really cool Instapot or crock pot recipe book,
Mm-hmm.
right? And just put everything in there, set it and forget it. You set it at night,
Yeah.
it's ready in the morning.
Yeah.
Set it before you go to work. You don't do anything. You just put everything together and it's done. So those tacos, those sort of sloppy joes, if you want to do that on some kamut bread, you can do all of those things where you just put everything together, you assemble, and then the crock pot does the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Got to think like that. So then when you start building some of those recipes into your repertoire, I think really that's when people really get excited.
Yeah.
I would say for the folks who don't like to cook, just do that. Instapot or crock pot cooking. You could do soups in there, lots of stews,
Mm-hmm.
and then those things can actually go in your salads.
Mm-hmm.
You can make rice in there. You can make the quinoa. You can make kamut. You can do millet. You can do all of that stuff in there. Yeah. One pot cooking is the way to go.
And from a mindset perspective, I would say stop complaining and stop talking about the fact that you don't like it. That's something that I'm working through as well, because it doesn't change the outcome. If you know you have to do it, find a way to make it better. Get some help. You probably have a friend who needs to be doing more cooking of their own too. Can you guys get together and do your meal prep together?
Yes.
Or at least hold each other accountable and encourage each other. Do you have your meals ready? And you have to re-engineer your thinking, because so many women are just not even thinking about it. They have already shut down their mind that they don't like cooking, they don't want to do it. And I have several friends who give their kids takeout and fast food on a regular basis and say they just have absolutely no time. And I just feel like if your child was to get sick, you would never forgive yourself. Or if your child stays sick because they are constantly eating food that is prepared at someone else's hands who may not have great hygiene. I'm just going to be, I'm just saying, I've seen some stuff. And you're putting them at the mercy of those other individuals, not to mention they'll grow up and not be cooks either because they never saw you doing it. So now they don't
right
to prepare their own meals. So it's a legacy thing, and it matters. Your grandma didn't do you like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. No, it's true. And I really like having sort of a little network of folks who are coming together and you're sort of cooking in large batches, and then you're sectioning it out for your family.
Yeah.
I think that that's also very community based, which is
Yes.
really empowering and beautiful. You get inspired because you get to really learn new tricks of the trade when you're cooking with other women, other people, other men too.
We
So
might
I
be
would,
onto something, Chef. We might be onto something because
yeah,
you say you do the grains, I'll do this
there
part.
you go.
We'll swap out. I'll give
You
you
come
half.
out right. So right, it's a meal
Right.
swaps. Yep, absolutely. And actually, a friend of mine, now that we're talking more about this, she is a family of 6. She's a family of 6, and then she also has another friend who's a family of 6.
Mm.
And she's an educator. So being an educator, you know how demanding that can be, and then to have to come home and cook for your family is a lot.
Yeah.
So they did this sort of meal swap where they would come together and they would cook, but they would cook in large batches for each other's families. And it made it a lot more appealing to cook. And I mean, they were eating amazing food, you know what I'm saying? And they're learning a thing or two because wow, this recipe from the Caribbean, I never even knew about it. And because we are doing this menu swap or recipe swap, I'm actually learning some new tricks of the trade. I'm learning to eat some things that I've never even thought about eating before. So I definitely think for me, when I'm in the kitchen, it's so much fun. Like I'm excited about how it's going to turn out. It's my way of showing my creativity. And I've always like, oh man, I don't sing, I don't dance. What can I do? I know how to cook and I know how to plate. So for me, I'm using that opportunity to be in the kitchen to really just sort of show some creativity, unwind, just have a good time. And I do think you're right. I think if you have this mindset, oh my God, it's so hard, it's going to be so hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you shift your thought about it and you just sort of, wow, this is an opportunity for me to become whole and healthy. This is an opportunity for me to really connect with my family through food. If you start reframing that experience in the kitchen, whether it's 30 minutes with the crock pot cooking or it's a little bit longer, that's the whole piece. The food's going to taste better because you're putting now different intention, different energy into the food. I'm really about that energy because when somebody don't want to cook and they cooking, that food don't taste good.
And that's why I say there's no love, because love is I'm fixing this and it didn't turn out right, so I'm not going to serve it, right? Like that's when I cook for other people, I apply love. I want them to actually enjoy the experience, especially if it's healthy. You know what I mean? So I would just challenge, everybody. People will say they don't have time, but then you'll spend 2 hours at brunch with your girlfriend when you and your girlfriend could have come together in one of your homes and done some meal prep. It doesn't sound sexy, but you know what? You could put some great music on. You can have a good time.
That's exciting. That's fun.
Even for the person that does not enjoy cooking, get together with some friends and that could make it easier. Just as an example, get your family in the kitchen. I know a couple of weeks ago, we came home from church and I was like, I don't feel like if it's on me, and also I don't really eat that much like I used to. And my family, I make them a full breakfast. We get in, it's like we had nothing. They're starting all over again. And so I have learned, so this one time I just told them, all hands on deck. If we're going to eat, everybody needs to help.
That's right.
Here's board for you. Here's this for you. Everybody had to pitch in and pull it together. Now they weren't excited about it, but they love to eat. So right. people have big, tall children that chopping. I'm just saying, yes. Your children could be chopping peppers. They could be slicing tomatoes for a salad. They could be doing something, and that's a great way to spend family time together. Is get in that kitchen and do the basics. And the more you don't like cooking, I just feel like you just need to keep it even easier. Absolutely. And for me, another reason why I loved your chana masala, by the way, and have twice since then, is that I'm excited, and everybody needs to find their own motivation. But I get excited sometimes by the thought of a new flavor or something new that's tasty. Some of you might get excited, and that's all I want to say on that, because I want to make sure I touch on what I think is the strongest why So I get excited about tasting new flavors, trying different things I never had before. Some of y'all need to get excited about the money you could be saving. You know that someone told me, Natasha, recently that for a family of 4, they're spending $1,500 a month on food.
That's too much. I don't know what they're doing.
I felt like crying because that is like come my mortgage, right?
No.
I mean, crazy. So how much money? I just dare you to go and pull your bank statement for February and see how much money did you spend on food. You're grocery shopping. Sometimes the food's going bad in your refrigerator because you didn't make it a priority. You don't know what to do with it. And then you're eating out constantly. Your kids are eating out constantly. You're eating lunch out. If you just eat lunch out every day, that could be about $100 a week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Monday through Friday, you could spend almost $20. Now, some days it might be a little bit less, but you could easily get to $100 a week just on lunch alone. And if you go out to eat as a family of 4, like somewhere where you sit down, you're spending at least $60, sometimes closer to $100, depending on where you're going. So it does add up. And if you just cut that with just some basic meal prep, you would save so much money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now, my meal prep, just so you know, for those folks out there, I know we're really focused on folks who are we're trying to push people to prepare their own meals. But if you're still trying to transition, I do offer cooking classes just like you. And then if you want to start with the meal plan and then we kind of get you there, you can do that too. And then they're affordably priced. They're not very expensive. Yeah. If you think about what you're getting for plant-based foods, healthy portions, you go out there and I've been to some restaurants. I only have a little thing like this, and I'm spending $15.
No, and healthy food eating out is definitely more expensive.
Oh my, what? So you definitely get the value and the quantity with my foods. So, but we can get you there. We let me tell you this. Myself, Coach Khara, there are all of these beautiful folks out here who are committed to helping our community to really take back their health. You know what I'm saying? And we just want you to invest in yourself. Just a little bit. We can't do all the work. We cannot. We need people who are willing. Yeah. We need people who are intentional. We want people who are willing to get out of their own way. I did a post today, about getting out of your own way because you never know, what you'll discover about yourself if you go beyond your own limitations that you set for yourself. Oh, I'm not eating this. Oh, I'm not eating that. You're limiting yourself. When you actually open up, okay, let me try it. Let me learn something new. Let me try this dish. Let me let Coach Khara teach me something. You'll be so surprised. Oh my God, that was actually pretty good. That tastes amazing. So we have to get folks who just want to meet us halfway. We're going to come correct. We're going to support you, but we want you to be willing to support yourself because none of this happens if you aren't willing to do the work at all,
I think you just gave us a nugget. I mean, to close us because that's what it's all about. You can sit here and consume all this information all day long. You can look at all the YouTube videos you want and all the social media posts and whatever. But if you don't take a step, you're never going to make any progress. And it's not just about you. It's about your entire family. And even if you don't have any children, you still have a community of influence. You still have family. You still have friends who would change their lives if they saw you change yours first. And some of us, some of you, or as I am, and Chef Bee, you're influencers. Like when you do things and you make moves, people are watching you and making decisions based on your behavior. So when you don't have yourself together, you're actually leading other people down the wrong path. It's not fun to be in a position like that. But the good news is when you change yourself, you help a nation, but you also help yourself. Like my energy level is through the roof. My concentration, I'm not foggy in my thoughts like I used to be all the time anymore. Even when I don't get proper sleep now, which is definitely important, I still have way more energy than when I ate, like crap all the time. So I'm grateful for it, and I just wish that I could get everybody. I just wish I could just, like you just described, just what is it? What should I say that's going to help people like wake up? And it's not just about us blowing our businesses up, although of course we want to be successful. That's normal. But this is a heartfelt passion. There's other things we could be doing. There has to be heart applied here, where you've experienced a life change, and you just really want as many people as possible to be able to experience the same things. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this, Coach Khara. The bottom line is this. We just got to continue doing our work.
Yeah.
All right? You keep doing your work. For those out there listening, we're going to continue to do our work. We're going to be here for you. All right? Some folks, they're just watching. They haven't decided to take action. That's fine. We will be the example.
Yeah.
All right? We will be the example. And it's just one person at a time. One person at a time. I know that I'm not for everybody. You might not be for everybody. But there is somebody that connects with what you're doing, that resonates with what you're doing, and what resonates with what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to support that person. All right? And guess what? If they're inspired enough, they're going to do that work, and they're going to share that work. It's called the ripple effect. That should sound familiar to you.
Yeah.
All right. Coach Khara and I went to IIN, Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And that's what it's all about. One person at a time. And guess what? That one person at a time, it's going to spread. We just have to be consistent. We just have to continue to do our work. We can't get frustrated with the masses who aren't doing what they need to do. That's okay. They will come a day when something happens, good or bad, and they'll be ready. And when they're ready, we're going to be right there with them. We're just going to be there giving that information for folks, making sure that they know that they have the resources that they need so that when they're ready to take action, bam, they can do it. Mm. So don't worry about all of that. Don't worry about all of that.
I love what you shared. You just gave me so much life. So tell us what you're working on. And wait a minute. Let me working on 25 things. So let me rephrase my question.
Rephrase it.
Because we're out of time. But I want you to talk to us about Spring Into the Raw this year.
All right. Spring Into the Raw 2018. Yes. Myself and Farmer Jay, Jamila. Any of you can get on board with us. We're eating healthy. We're eating raw for 10 days. So this is actually a really good opportunity for folks who are really interested in eating raw and eating within a group setting. And that sort of community piece that we were talking about, this is the opportunity for you to get that experience. Spring Into the Raw goes from March 20th to the 29th, 2018. It's online. It's on Facebook. And with that, it's $99. With that, you get a private group, Facebook group. All right. We also get your fruit and veggie wash infused with essential oils. You also get seasoning blend that is for the season. So we know that it's so important to eat seasonally because guess what? Anytime you're eating where you are, those fruits and vegetables are being grown optimally to support your body.
Yep.
So all of the seasonings that we're using, that we're creating for you are for the spring. They're spring harvests, all right? Spring seasons and herbs. You will also get 30 recipes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then some suggestions on snacks. So if you're not sure how to do things, come on for the ride. And guess what? I'm going to give you a little offer, Coach Khara.
Okay.
Ready? You ready for the offer?
I think so.
For your tribe, we'll give them a discount because it's regularly $99. For your tribe, we'll give them the discount of $75. So it'll be $75, so $24 off.
Right.
And they would get all of that. And then the last thing that I didn't mention is we're going to also do a market tour. Morningside, if you're local, Morningside Farmers Market is one of our organic farmers markets. And Farmer Jay will be doing the tour for those farmers markets. So I'm really, really excited about that. So, I mean, you get a whole lot. You get your farmer's market tour, you get your seasoning, you get your fruit and veggie wash, you get your ebook, all right? You get Farmer Jay, you get Chef Beee. I mean, come on. So $99, but we're going to give a discount of $24 to your tribe members if they want to participate. And then, of course, you can participate for free, Miss Coach Khara.
Oh, snap. You're putting me on the spot. You know, I have to do the other 10-day that we discussed. That's on my list, too. You know what? You guys, I'm telling you guys, Chef Bee and Farmer Jay are just two of the most amazing women I've ever met. I cannot stress that enough. Just heart, just all heart, and incredible, amazing, beautiful. Everything they do is delicious. Like, hashtag goals. Like, that's how I feel. I have to remind myself, Khara, you just got started. That's the next level. You're gonna get to
we're in there. Yes, we're gonna get there.
Give me the link, and I will.
Yeah, we'll hook you up. We'll hook you up. We'll hook you up with your own. Yeah, your own coupon. Right. So don't worry about that.
And I'll put that in the show notes so that you guys can go ahead and get signed up and ready to go for this. Let's put a time limit on that though, Chef. Okay. You guys can get like up until March 19th. That's not how this is gonna work. From the time that this podcast goes out.
When will it go out?
We're taping here on the 9th. I'm going to get everything processed today. I'm going to get it on social media today.
Okay.
But for the podcast listeners through iTunes, etc., that takes like another day to process. They may not see it until Sunday or Monday. They may not hear it until Sunday or Monday. So what kind of timeline do we want to give folks?
I would say until this Friday coming.
That's a long window.
You think so? I think that's fine.
Okay, all right. Look at her. She's fine. Okay, so till March 16th, then you'll still get that $24 off. So that gives you guys time. You know what that means? That means that you have $67 to come cook live with me on Sunday. In time. So cooking live, the cooking live event that I'm doing will be this Sunday from 12 to 3. That's March 11th from 12 to 3 Eastern time.
Oh, nice.
You know, my goal with this was I have been resistant to do more cooking. I focus a lot on health education and food education and lifestyle, but it's just been, you know, the spirit just impressing upon me to return to basics, and my basic knowledge is about food and cooking. Like, that's what I do that's easy for me and hard for other people, is throw dishes together and meal plan, but I do it in my own kind of haphazard way that works for me. And the spirit is calling me to get more organized with it so that I can show other people how to do it and save time, save money, save aggravation, and ultimately save your health. And so if you go ahead and get registered today, the earlier the better, because you need time to go out and get your groceries and get your materials and stuff together so that we will hit the ground running. So we're going to do 3 entrees. Now, I've done this before with my coaching group. Okay, but I'm confident we're gonna have a good time together, and it will be in a Zoom room. We'll be using technology, and I'll be able to see what everybody's cooking. You'll be able to see what I'm preparing. It's gonna be real casual fun. You'll be able to engage with the other participants. We'll get started right at 12 o'clock. You know, all the guide that you receive explains exactly what you need to have done before we get started, so we can jump right in. We're starting right off the top with a berry cobbler. Like, we start dessert first, honey, when it's healthy.
Dessert first.
Yeah, but you know what? I do like to make my dessert though first, get it out of the way so it can sit to the side and cool, whatever, you know.
Yeah. No, that's smart.
Stuff with 2 different sauces, and we're gonna do a soup, and it's actually 4 entrees really, but 2 different sauces for the pasta. A vegetable soup, and then a Southwest quinoa. And then the meal plan that comes with it includes recipes for smoothies for breakfast, and then lunch you'll be rotating in variations, like a round 1, round 2 type thing of the dinner meal, right? So just keeping it very easy. $67, that does end today, and then it will be $97.
I love it.
Go ahead and get in on it today. We cook for a day and we eat for a week. I'm excited.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Can you, if it goes well, if everything goes well, then this will be a regularly recurring thing, because we need to do something every week anyway. You know, it's something we need to be doing anyway. So tell us how we can find you on social media and everywhere else.
All right. So for me, Chef Bee with 3 E's.com, Chef Bee with 3 E's.com. You can find essential oil information there. You can find information about the cooking shows and actually see past shows, especially the one with Coach Khara. All right. Also, you can find out about Spring Into the Raw from that site, or you can go directly to the website, eatwhereyouare.net.
Okay.
And you can find out everything that you need about Spring Into the Raw. Once again, you guys are going to get a coupon code. The coupon code will be Coach K. Coach K. That's all caps. And I will send that to Coach Khara. And like I said, it's normally priced at $99, but you will get a discount of $24. So you'll be paying $75 for 10 days of coaching from Chef Beee. Also, farming education from Farmer J, the market tour, the fruit and veggie wash infused with essential oils, the seasoning blend, 30 recipes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. All right. And then you're going to get your private VIP Facebook group. Come on. That's a good deal, right?
That is
right?
Really good. You know what? You also slid your 8th job in there. We get ready to close out, but I just want to say you slid your 8th job in there. You are essential oils educator too.
That's right.
Yes.
That's a whole nother conversation. It's all good.
Conversation, but my goodness, she's doing a lot, you guys. So listen, I hope you got a lot from this episode. I feel like this is one where you may need to go back and listen again and take some notes, especially on the tips around how to put your meals together in a way that's faster, how to make some things that will motivate you to get in the kitchen, meal prepping with your friends. Like, so much information here. I got a lot out of it. I'm so grateful for this time together. And I really appreciate you, Chef Bee, for making time to talk to my growing group of listeners. This was amazing. And I am highly motivated.
Woo! Yes. So I hope that you guys join us for the challenge. You know, this is an awesome woman. Please listen to what Coach K has to say. She's the bomb. She knows her stuff. And she is definitely moving with heart and spirit. So make it happen. Do what you need to do to participate in Cooking Live with Coach K. And then we also would love to see you guys on March 20th, Spring Into the Raw.
Spring Into the Raw. So that's it. So really, even if you chose to do both, that's like $150. I mean, that's just nothing.
Come on, that ain't nothing.
$100 before for a 1-month meal plan. So I really feel like this is, and that didn't include any coaching.
Right.
You know, with these deals, you're getting coaching and everything, and you need it. If you're going to
need it.
It's a cold world out there. You got McDonald's, Taco Bell, Popeyes on every corner. It's a struggle. You know? It is a struggle. Chipotle, which is fine. Chipotle has some healthy choices, but it's pricey to eat in there all the time. So.
Absolutely.
But, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you get back to one of those 8 jobs because you look like you sleep at night. I don't know how.
I sleep. I might get up at night to go to the bathroom, but I go back to sleep.
Okay, I'm gonna schedule a separate appointment with you because I need to at least get to 3 jobs. I need to at least get to 3. I can't do 8 and keep my marriage, but you can do it and you still keep I can't keep my marriage with 8.
Guess what? He got 10 jobs too, so he get it.
Oh, that's the problem. Let me go in here and get my husband up out of bed. Tell him he needs to go to the job. Before the nighttime job, he needs to go to a different job. Yes. All right. I'm on it. I get it now.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Chef. I appreciate you greatly. And I look forward to working with you again in the future and get more information from me on Spring in the Raw. Thank you for the offer. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Absolutely.
All right, everybody. I hope you received what you needed today. If you want to reach me, you can send an email to Coach K at kharaashburn.com for questions or to schedule a conversation or anything like that and get more information. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Bye.